The Employee Retention Credit from the IRS is the last major COVID relief program. Claim up to $26,000 for each employee you had on payroll. This is Marty Stewart with Disaster Loan Advisors. The IRS tax refund is newfound money for your business. Let us help you navigate the ERC program with flexible options and working together. You can relax and have peace of mind that you're in good hands. Stay safe, stay compliant, and keep more of your refund. Take the next step and schedule a free ERC consultation call with us today.
5 ways to determine eligibility for the Employee Retention Credit. Here are the top 5 ways to determine eligibility for the Employee Retention Credit. 1. Determining the eligibility for Employee Retention Credit. The Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security (CARES) Act, which took effect on March 13, 2020, and continues through September 30, 2021, established the Employee Retention Credit, ERC. The ERC may be provided to any company, regardless of the size or employee count, and can also be used in the past, when operations were at least partially suspended owing to a government order related to the COVID-19 pandemic. The ERC applied to eligible companies that paid qualifying salaries to employees. The table below lists the key qualifying categories as well as the ERC timelines. This way to determine eligibility for the ERC came from DisasterLoanAdvisors.com's How to Determine Eligibility for the Employee Retention Credit. 2. What employers qualify for the Employee Retention Credit? Most employers, including colleges, universities, hospitals, and 501(c) organizations following the enactment of the American Rescue Plan Act, can qualify for the credit. Previously, the Consolidated Appropriations Act expanded qualifications to include businesses who took a loan under the Paycheck Protection Program, PPP, including borrowers from the initial round of PPP who originally were ineligible to claim the tax credit. Qualification is determined by one of 2 factors for eligible employers, and one of these factors must apply in the calendar quarter the employer wishes to utilize the credit. 1. A trade or business that was fully or partially suspended or had to reduce business hours due to a government order. The credit applies only for the portion of the quarter the business is suspended, not the entire quarter. Some businesses, based on IRS guidance, generally do not meet this factor test and would not qualify. 2. An employer that has a significant decline in gross receipts. 3. Recovery startup business. This way to determine eligibility for the ERC came from Paychex.com's The Employee Retention Tax Credit program has closed, but businesses can retroactively claim credit. 3. Who is eligible for the Employee Retention Credit? An eligible employer for the Employee Retention Credit in 2020 is any private sector employer or tax-exempt organization carrying on a trade or business during calendar year 2020 that either 1. Fully or partially suspended operations during any calendar quarter due to orders from an appropriate government authority limiting commerce, travel, or group meetings due to COVID-19, or 2. Experienced a significant decline in gross receipts during the calendar quarter. Eligibility rules have been updated for 2021. To be considered for the credit, more than a nominal portion of the employer's business operations must have been suspended. For the purposes of the Employee Retention Credit, a portion of an employer's business is considered more than a nominal portion of operations if either the gross receipts from that portion of business operations is not less than 10% of gross receipts, determined by same calendar quarter in 2019, or the hours of service performed by employee is that portion of the business is not less than 10% of the total number of hours of service performed by all employees in the employer's business. Tax.ThomsonReuters.com's Employee Retention Credit post shared this way to determine eligibility for the ERC. 4. Determining which employers are eligible for ERC. Eligible employers that are entitled to claim the Employee Retention Credit are private sector businesses and tax-exempt organizations that carry on a trade or business during calendar year 2020 and either have operations that were fully or partially suspended during any calendar quarter in 2020 due to orders from an appropriate governmental authority limiting commerce, travel, or group meetings for commercial, social, religious, or other purposes due to COVID-19, or experienced a significant decline in gross receipts during the calendar quarter. IRS.gov shared this way to determine eligibility for the ERC on COVID-19 related employee retention credits, determining which employers are eligible to claim the Employee Retention Credit FAQs. 5. Which employers qualify for the Employee Retention Credit? Following the enactment of the American Rescue Plan Act, most employers, including colleges, universities, hospitals, and 501(c) organizations can qualify for the credit. Previously, the Consolidated Appropriations Act expanded qualifications to include businesses who took a PPP loan, including borrowers from the initial round of PPP who originally were ineligible to claim the tax credit. Qualification is determined by one of two factors for eligible employers, and one of these factors must apply in the calendar quarter the employer wishes to utilize the credit. 1. Trade or business was fully or partially suspended or had to reduce business hours due to a government order. The credit applies only for the portion of the quarter the business is suspended, not the entire quarter. 2. Employer has a significant decline in gross receipts. This way to determine eligibility for the ERC came from UC.edu's What You Need to Know About the Employee Retention Credit.
As you can see, navigating the Employee Retention Credit Program is very complex and confusing to try to figure it out on your own. Even on the IRS ERC FAQ pages, it says, "This page is not current." There have been several years of updates and changes to this IRS tax credit already, including 4 congressional acts and 5 updated guidances from the IRS, totaling over 3,900 pages. Who has time to sift through all that information, let alone decipher some of the confusing language and rulings? In order to stay compliant with current IRS ERC rules and regulations, expert specialized help is highly recommended. Even if your business received an SBA PPP loan, you are still eligible for the ERC credit. If you think you may not qualify, it's worth a conversation to see if your business does. Let us assist you with a complete employee retention credit process, or if you might be stuck on filling out the IRS 941X forms correctly on your own. We are here to help. Stay safe, stay compliant, keep more of your refund. Email us at support@disasterloanadvisors.com or call us toll-free at 877-463-9777 extension 3. Or visit us on the web at www.disasterloanadvisors.com/ERC for complete details on the Employee Retention Credit Program for your business.